Okay. So, in the last lecture we have defined the continuity of the function using the Cauchy and Henry's definition, and both are later on shown to be equivalent. And in that case we have considered f to be continuous over an interval, but we can extend it. We can take an arbitrary set A which is subset of R, where the similar way the continuity of the definition of the continuity over the set A which is subset of all any point x c belongs to that subset can be introduced. Let me just recall that we say let A, which is a subset of R, a non-empty subset of R, a continuous subset of R, let F is a mapping from A to R, and let C be a point in A. Then we say F is continuous at the point C if for a given epsilon r greater than 0 there exists a delta depends on epsilon r and the point C such that the mod of f x minus f c is less than epsilon r provided mod of x minus c is less than delta. So, for if x is any point in this set satisfying this, then the correspondingly we get this. If f fails to be continuous at C, then we say means if this condition does not hold, then f fails to be continuous at C, then f is said to be discontinuous function. F is discontinuous at C. And in the neighborhood form we can say in the neighborhood form is a function A f from A to R is continuous at x equal to C belongs to A if and only if given any epsilon neighborhood say V epsilon depends on of f c, given any epsilon neighborhood of f c, there exists a delta neighborhood, say V delta c, delta neighborhood of C, such that if x is any point x is any point of the A intersection V delta C of the common point of this neighborhood and A, then means it belongs to the neighborhood, then f x belongs to V neighborhood of epsilon neighborhood of f c. That is the image of this interval, the delta neighborhood of C will be contained in the epsilon neighborhood of f c. That is what it says. And we have seen that graphically also, that if here say this one is there. So, this is our function and here this is our say delta. So, this we get B delta C, here is our epsilon, this is V epsilon f c, C is point somewhere here, here is f c, this is f c, where the C is there. So, we get given any epsilon neighborhood of f c, there exists a delta neighborhood. This is the delta neighborhood B delta C, such that image of any point in this will fall inside it, then it is a continuous function. So, here C is a point in this neighborhood. Now, it may or may not be the limit point, but if C is a limit point, if C belongs to A, is a limit point or is a cluster point, that is the limit point and cluster point of A, then the continuity of definition can be written as then f is continuous if and only if the limit of this f x when x approaches to C is f of C. And in fact, this is if you look at Haney's theorem, Haney's equivalent definition says there is a sequence x n in the neighborhood which goes to C, then the corresponding f x n will go to f c. So, basically it is the same as the Haney's theorem. So, f c, it means if a function we want it to be continuity, what the condition requires. So, for the continuity of the function f x at a point C, we need the following condition. We need the following conditions must hold. The first condition is that the limit of the function f x must be defined at the point x equal to C, where the continuity is tested. Second part is the limit of this function f x when x approaches to C must exist. And third condition is both should be identical. Third is the limit of f x when x tends to C must coincide with the value f x. If these three conditions are satisfied, then we say the function f x is continuous at a point C. So, using this definition, it is very easy to confirm find out whether the function is continuous or not. If suppose in this case any one of the condition fails, then we say the function is discontinuous. So, again there are different type of discontinuities that we will discuss later on, that if suppose the function is defined, limit exists, but both may not be equal, then in that case the discontinuity will be the removable discontinuity and so on and so forth. So, that part we will take up later. But using this definition we can show many examples. Suppose I take f x equal to x square, and we claim is a continuous function on the entire real line R, because let choose C as any point in R. Then what is the limit of f x when x tends to C? As we have seen already, this is C square, which is the same as f of C. So, it is continuity follows. Similarly, the function f x, all the polynomials they are also continuous function. Sine functions, cosine x, tan x, where the denominator is not 0, denominator is different from 0. These are all functions e to the y etcetera, all continuous functions and follows from this definition easily. So, we are not touching we are not going in detail the proof of this, but take the limit always, and so much we have already discussed the limit of various functions, and that will help in identifying whether the given function is continuous or not. Now, let us take the function f x equal to 1 by x. Now, f x equal to 1 by x, this function when x is continuous over the set, continuous on the set A of all real numbers where it is positive. Because if we take C any point in A, so obviously C is greater than 0. So, limit of f x when x tends to C is nothing but 1 by C. which is the value of the function at c. So, continuity follows, but f of x which is 1 by x is not continuous at x equal to 0, because it is not defined at x equal to 0. So, there is no question of continuity lies here. But similarly, if we take the function sin x, f x equal to signum of x, this function is not continuous at 0. At x equal to 0. The reason is because the signum function is defined like this: when x is negative, the signum value is -1, 0 it is 0, when x is positive it is 1. So, signum function, this is the function which is defined as 1 if x is positive, 0 when x is 0, and equal to -1 when x is negative. So, when you take the limit of this signum function as x tends to 0, the limit will go to 1 and -1 when x is tending to 0 from positive side or when x is tending to 0 from the negative side, and therefore, limit does not exist. Limit does not exist at x equal to 0. So, it is not a continuous function. Another example which is also very interesting example, let A be the entire real line and f is defined as the value is 1 if x is rational and 0 if x is irrational. Now, we claim that this function f is not continuous at any point of R, because the reason is simple. Because suppose I take a point C, let us take if C test it at C which is a rational number, say. Okay. Now, every rational number can be approximated by means of the sequence of irrational. So, there exists a sequence x n of irrational numbers in R whose limit is this is C. But what is the behavior of what is the value of x n? But x n, when x n is rational, is 0 always for each n. Therefore, the limit of this f x n when n tends to infinity will also be 0, which differs from the limit, but limit is C, because C is a rational number. So, the value of this is 1 according to this. So, it is not continuous at any rational point inside. Similarly, we can show that it is also discontinuous at every irrational point, irrational points in the real line R in a similar way. A function, however, is modified and made it rational at some point, and that function is, let us define, let A be the set of all real number which are greater than 0, positive. Then define the function, define h, function h follows. Define h on A, h follows. So, h of x equal to, say, 0 if x is greater than 0 or rational number is a irrational number. If this is irrational number, we are taking h of x to be 0 and equal to 1 by n if x is a rational number m by n which is in the lowest form, m by n which is in the lowest form, natural number m n n, and the lowest form is that means m n is 1. The divisor, the greatest common divisor of this is 1 where. So, let us define the x. If it is rational number is of the form m by n, we will write 1 by n, and if x is irrational, then we will write to be 0. Now, we claim that h, this function h is basically is discontinuous at every rational number in A. But it is continuous at every irrational number in A. So, let us see the proof for it. The solution is suppose I take first a rational number. Let us take A be a which is greater than 1 0 as a rational points in A. So, we can find a sequence. So, there is a sequence x n of irrational numbers, irrational points which converges to A. Okay. But what is the value of f x n? H x n is defined to be 0 for every rational point. So, along this 0 x, this sequence h of x n will be 0, but what is the h of A? H of A is given to be what? If it is rational number, then it will be some say 1 by n or whatever may be, which is positive. So, here the limit of h x n as n tends to infinity will come out to be 0, because for all points the values are 0. So, limit will be 0, and here the value is coming to be non-zero. Therefore, this limit of h x n over n differs from the value of the function at a point A. So, when A is rational, it is not a continuous function. So, h is not continuous at any rational numbers in A. Let us see the irrational point. So, suppose B is an irrational point. B belongs to A is a irrational point. Is an irrational number. Is an irrational number. So, when B is irrational, let us choose epsilon r greater than 0. So, for this given epsilon r, we can identify a integer. So, a natural number. So, there exists a natural number n such that 1 by n naught can be made less than epsilon r, which is possible by our Archimedean properties. So, this. Now, let us consider an interval. The interval, if I take the interval b minus 1, b plus 1. Now, in this interval, we can get the rational point whose denominator is greater than n naught as well as less than n naught. Okay. So, what we claim is that the national with denominator less than n naught. There are only we choose a neighborhood or choose an interval b minus 1 b plus 1 and choose an interval, then there are obviously there are only a finite numbers of rational number of rationals finite number with denominator less than n naught, because obviously when this denominator is less than n naught, it will greater than n naught, this will follow and b minus 1 here b will get somewhere number. So, it will approach towards this number. Okay. So, v is any arbitrary number we can get. Hence, we can choose a neighborhood b minus delta b plus skews it. So, we can get the neighborhood b minus delta b plus delta which contains no rational number with denominator less than n naught, means with this neighborhood we can find v minus delta b plus delta, where all these point x n, whatever the number, the denominators will be having the denominator greater than n naught. Okay. So, it will satisfy this condition, that is what we wanted to have that neighborhood. Okay. So, once you have this neighborhood, then clearly then if x then for any x which satisfy this condition x minus b is less than delta where the x belongs to a, b have mod of h x minus h of b, but h of b is 0 because b is irrational and the function is defined irrational to be 0. So, this is h of x. H of x means x is of the form say 1 by n. So, this is 1 by n and this will be less than 1 by n naught, 1 by say n naught or 1 by n, h x is equal to 1 by n. So, which is less than equal to 1 by n naught. So, this will remain less than epsilon. Therefore, for epsilon neighborhood of this we can find that is a delta such that for all x lying between this, the function h x minus h be less than epsilon. So, this shows the h is continuous at irrational point or irrational points in A, and that is prove the result. Okay. Now, one more thing which we have a remark, we have seen the continuity of the function in terms of the limit. If suppose the limit does not exist, but the function is well defined everywhere except the limiting point, then the two possibilities are there, either the limit will exist, function is defined everywhere except the point where the continuity is required. So, the possibility is when you take the limit of the function x, when x tends to that point, limit may or may not exist. If it exists, then we can redefine the function in such a way, so that the new function so obtained becomes continuous. So, that is the remark here. Sometimes suppose a function a, suppose a function f from a to r is not continuous, because the value of the function at that point is not continuous at a point C, because the value of the function f c is not defined, Then the two possibilities, then but the limit of this function, limit of say f x, limit of f x when x tends to that c exist. Then we can redefine the function capital F as follows. Capital F x is equal to the limit of f x when x tends to c, for x equal to c, we are defining this, and f of x for x belongs to a, which is not c, different from c, minus c, okay, minus c, that point. The function is not defined, in fact, is okay. So that is equal to suppose L. Now we claim this f is continuous, at c, because f is already given to be continuous function except at and is continuous except at the point c. So when you take any point x, function f x is not defined only at c and rest of the point it is defined. So when you take the limiting value of the function f x, this comes out to the value of the function f at the point c. So limit of this f x when x tends to c is equal to f of c, and that is equal to limit f x exists. So this function is continuous. It means the original function f, from the original function we can remove the continuity, we can remove the point of discontinuity and made it to be continuous function, and this way we call it that point to be a removable discontinuous point. Okay, this. But if the limit of the function, if a function does not have a limit c, if a function g from a to r does not have a limit, at c, then there is no way, that we can obtain there is no way that we can obtain a function g A union C here we write on A union C, this was left to R, okay, to R, please check it, okay, to R, that's simple. So, A union C, there we can, that is continuous, at C by defining g x as equal to C for x is equal to say capital C, I am just saying capital C, okay, for x equal to C, and g x for x belongs to A, x belongs to A. The reason is because if we assume this way, then what happen? Because the reason is this, because what is the limit of g x when x tends to C? this is giving to be, if it exists, then it is giving to be the C. But this limit when x tends to C, it is equivalent to, which is equivalent to, say, the limit of this g x when x tends to C exists. Because if this limit exists, it means when x is different from C, the g x is defined like this, small g. So, when you are choosing the limit of g x when x approaches, you have for all x where differs from C, the g will be replaced by small g. So, limit of this, and if this limit exists, this will exist, which will contradict, must also exist, and equal to C, and equal to capital C, but this is not given, which is a contradiction, which contradicts. Therefore, we cannot redefine the function so that it becomes continuous. That is what it is. Now, let us take an example in support of this. Suppose I take a function g f x equal to sine 1 by x for x different from 0. Okay. Then it does not have a limit at x 0, 0. Then this function is not continuous at x equal to 0, because we cannot define the value of the function at the point 0, because at the point 0 the function f is not defined. Since f is not defined at x equal to 0, f is not defined at x equal to 0, because it does not have a limit, because this does not have a limit, is not defined as 0, because the limit of this sin 1 by x as x tends to 0 does not exist. And this we have seen already, that if we take x equal to 1 by pi, the limit of the function, limit of sin 1 by x, x tends to 0 will go to 0. When you take x equal to odd multiple of pi by 2, the limit of this function will go to 1, and like so on. Or there is a laws of fluctuation. In fact, if we go for the limit, then this is 1 by pi, 1 by 2 pi, 1 by 3 pi, and like this. So, there is a laws of fluctuations is there, like this, okay, something like goes. So, it has a positive negative value in the neighborhood of 0. So, the fluctuation exceed by epsilon, therefore, it cannot be continuous also, and again limit also we can say that does not exist. The second example, if we look the function f x, which is x sin 1 by x. Suppose I take for x is not equal to 0. Okay. The function in that case f x is not defined at x equal to 0, at x equal to 0. Then the function cannot be continuous at this point. Then f x cannot be continuous at x equal to 0. But however, if I redefine the function as follow. So, if we redefine the function capital F x from R to R, means R to R, such that f of x, the value is 0 if x is 0 and equal to x sin 1 by x for x different from 0. If I redefine this function, then what happens? Then clearly f is continuous at x equal to 0. Why? Because the limit of this x sin 1 by x as x tends to 0 is 0, because it is dominated by x. So, limit will come out to be 0, which is the same as the f of 0. So, this is continuity follows. Therefore, this function, for this function 0 is the removable continuity. Okay. Okay. Now, there are certain properties of the continuous functions, which we will just some results or results on continuous functions, on combinations of continuous function, combinations of continuous functions. So, I will just state the results, and the result is for any arbitrary point it is 2. So, I will just give the general results. Let A, which is a subset of R, and let F and G be continuous on A. On A, or at a point, let us take this F and G be continuous on A to R be a continuous function, functions A to R, be a functions on A to R, and let B belongs to R. Okay. Suppose that C is an element in A, and that F and G are continuous at C. Then the following results holds. Then F plus G, F minus G, F G, B F, and they are all continuous at C. And if H is a mapping from A to R, is continuous at C belongs to A, and if H of x is not equal to 0 for all x belongs to A, then the quotient f by h is continuous at C. So, the results follow. Now, this can be extended to a one as a corollary or theorem. The same results holds if f and g, let A which is subset of R, and let f and g be continuous on A to R, and let B belongs to R, then f plus g, f minus g, product f g and B f are continuous on A, and similarly B holds. Similarly B holds as above on the set A. So, I am not writing, that is what true. Okay. This one, the proof is just based on the earlier cases. We have seen the function f is limit function is there, limit of f x plus g x is limit of f x plus f x g x. So, based on this we can write down the proof for it. Okay. Now, another results are again without proof. Let A, which is a subset of R, and let F is a mapping from A to R, and let mod F means absolute value of this f x be defined by mod of f x means equal to the modulus of f x for all x belongs to A. Then if f is continuous at a point C, belongs to A, then mod f is also continuous. At C. Okay. Then second part is, if f is continuous, on A, then mod f is thought continuous on A. Similarly, if our domain, if A is continuous, if f x is greater than or equal to 0 for all x belongs to A, then the following result. So, then f is continuous at a point C belongs to A, then under root of f is also continuous at C, and if f is continuous on A, then under root f is also continuous on A, where under root f x is defined as the under root of f x for x belongs to A, x belongs to A, and f of x is greater than 0. That is what. So, similar results holds, and we are not proving giving that, because it is very easy to show the proof of all these results. So, we are just skipping the proof for it. Okay. Now, next result which is interesting, composition of the continuous function. Composition of continuous functions. Okay. Suppose we have the function f and g, both are say one is continuous at some point and other is also continuous in a point where the range set is contained in this, then we get the So, let us let f is a mapping from A to R, B is a continuous at a point C. Let this is continuous at a point C. If f which is continuous at a point C, and if G which is a mapping from B to R is continuous at a point B, which is the image of C under F, then the composition function G composition F is continuous is continuous at a C. Okay, function at a C. And here we assume that image of A under F is contained in B. So, the function is well defined, domain is this, and G f x means G of f x. This is the meaning. Okay. So, let us see the proof of this. This is the result. What it says is, suppose I take this one, suppose this is the set A, this one is the set say B, this one is the set say C. F is a mapping from A to B, G is a mapping from B to C, okay, and this. Now, what is given is F is continuous at a point C. So, here we are getting F of C, that is equal to B. G is continuous at a point B. So, here you are getting G of B. Okay. So, since G is continuous at the point B, G is continuous at a point B. So, what we get? So, there is a let us take a epsilon neighborhood of G B. So, let W be an epsilon neighborhood of G B. Let us consider this epsilon neighborhood of G B. Say here, this is in this inside, this is epsilon neighborhood of W. So, this is W. Take the epsilon neighborhood of W as an epsilon neighborhood of G B. Now, G is continuous. Since G is continuous at B, so there is a, since G is continuous at B, so there exists a delta neighborhood V of small b, which is the value of the function at C, such that whenever the y belongs to the B intersection of V, then G B image of this y under V belongs to W. This is by definition. So, what he is saying is, if I picked up a, for corresponding to this epsilon neighborhood, we can find a delta neighborhood of this, that is V, such that whenever the any point lies in the intersection of V and this, the image will fall within this range. So, by definition of the continuity of G at a point B. Now, further G is giving to F is giving to be continuous. Further, F is continuous at a point C. At a point C, this is given. So, there exists say gamma neighborhood of C, gamma neighborhood say U of C, such that if x belongs to A intersection U, then the image will go, f x will go to B intersection V intersection B. So, that what we get, the composition mapping G of f x, this will be equal to G of f x, and that belongs to W. So, what he says is that if since f is continuous at C, so for given this delta neighborhood of this, we can find a gamma neighborhood of C, such that the any point which lies inside this gamma neighborhood, gamma intersection A, the image will go to V, and every point which is in V, the image will go to W. So, G composition f x will go to W. That is what is said. But since W is, since W is an arbitrary epsilon neighborhood, W is an arbitrary small epsilon neighborhood of G B. So, this shows that this implies that G composition F is continuous at C, because for any arbitrary small epsilon there exists a neighborhood say gamma neighborhood of say u of point C, such that image of any point 1 holds, such that 1 holds. So, this implies this is a continuous function for this. Okay. So, we get this now we wanted to do some more maximum minimum also. For that let me just define the maximum and minimum theorem. First the definition: maximum and minimum. We have already stated the local maximum, local minimum. Here just it will be required definition. Let A be a subset of R, and let F which is a mapping from A to R. Okay. We say F has an absolute maximum, F has an absolute maximum on the set A if there is a point, say x star in A such that the value of this x star under F will always be greater than the value of f x for all x belongs to A. Then we say the function f has an absolute maxima on the set A. Then we say f has an absolute minimum on A if there is a point, say x star, if there is a point x lower star I am saying belongs to A such that the f of lower image of this lower x star is less than equal to f x for all x belongs to A. Then we say x star is an absolutely then lower absolute minimum for it. The x star called the absolute maximum point, x lower star is called the absolute minimum point if they exist. X star is called the absolute maximum point and x lower star is called the absolute minimum point if they exist. Okay, and let us see. So, we will continue next time this one. Thank you.